Hello and welcome back to Nerd News Today Toy Fair 2021. Joining me now, one of my favorite companies to visit at Toy Fair, and a relatively newish one to Toy Fair, in fact, but one that I've really come to enjoy. We've got Erik Aranya and Andrew Franks, two of the four partners from Boss Fight Studio. Guys, how's it going today?
It's going all right.
Yeah, it's good.
So let's just jump right in here with the first question I'm asking everybody this weekend, and that's, what was your favorite toy when you were growing up?
It was definitely G.I. Joe for me. As far as my favorite thing within the line, probably the two things that got the most use for me was the killer whale and the Ram motorcycle, as well as just whatever figures I wanted to play with that day. So
I think I'm gonna go with Transformers Soundwave.
Good choices, good choices. The whale and the Soundwave. That's a heck of a duo I'd like to see. So, gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about Boss Fight Studio because that's what we're here to do, of course. So, big question, of course, is how has the pandemic affected your business in 2020 and this year? Because I know it's been a big hit for everybody, but specifically for you guys, how hard of a hit has it been for you?
The I would say the biggest impact has been on the manufacturing end. Early on, of course, in China, they were taking the brunt of the pandemic, and that meant that there was a lot less labor um, available to staff our factories, and that unfortunately has probably continued to be the biggest issue. Our primary factory is operating at 20% capacity still, and it's meant a real slowdown in plans for getting product out there. So yeah, I mean that's really been the big thing. In terms of our adjustments on this end, we thankfully it was relatively easy for us to adjust to doing more work from home, and thankfully everyone at Boss Fight has managed to keep healthy and safe so far, and that's the important thing for consumers to understand too, is that it has affected everything, every aspect of the business in at least small ways. And so when you're wondering, where are these items? Why is this running behind? It's the pandemic. It's affected so much.
from shipping to, I mean, like there's just fewer shipping options available, and if our trucks come in on California, there's fewer trucking companies out there where they're low staffed as well. So it's like it's every step of the way. And from a creative standpoint, even though we're all working from home most of the time and stuff right now, there's definitely a Boss Fight, we're very interconnected, the way we all design and create and everything like that. So that has definitely been something missing, that we've been missing, that being in the office together and stuff like that. We do still do a lot of Zoom stuff, so but it's definitely, when we're at the office, there's a lot of hallway brainstorming that happens that we currently don't have as an outlet. So
You guys took an interesting pivot this year too to kind of adapt, and you started a customizing course, which I think is a really, really clever idea, really smart move. Can you guys talk a little bit about that course? And once the pandemic is over, is this something you guys are going to continue to do?
well, the customizing classes online that we do, we've wanted to do it for a long time. We just never seem to be able to find the time. The pandemic forced us to find the time and slot it in, and it's been great. It's great fun. I love working. I love having all the fans and stuff on the Zoom with us as we talk and kind of go through it. Erik Ridlon has been amazing at his, he's just such an amazing painter. So that has been a lot of fun. We have another one coming up soon, and we're already planning for the next one after that. So as the pandemic comes to a close, I imagine we'll keep doing them. Maybe not with quite the same frequency, but it's been very fun and very, we know everybody likes it, so we're probably gonna continue to do them.
And to be clear, that's with the Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S figures, correct?
Yes, yeah. Currently, we've only used the Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S figures for that. It gets a little more complicated to use one of our licenses. We have to have them on board and everything with it as well. When it's our stuff, we can be a little bit more, candid, and we're not always super professional and stuff like that. But if you're working with somebody else's IP, you kind of have to, which we can do. We can definitely step that up, but it is a little bit more, there's more hoops to jump through to do it for one of our licenses.
Let's talk a little bit about those Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S as well. Like, the way I kind of define them is it's like Mythic Legions, but G.I. Joe sized, which is a wonderful thing. I love having that. So can you guys talk to us about what's going on in 2021 now for the line? Are we going to see any new gear kits, new figures, new steeds? Can anybody tease any information about that?
We have plans for almost all of that. Whether it happens in 2021 or bleeds over into 2022, we don't know yet. We have a lot to get through that we've already shown or even pre-ordered that got pushed back for a number of reasons. So, not just the gap in production that the pandemic caused, but also just other issues with the tools and stuff. We're always trying to upgrade and update, and the more you use the tools, the steel tools, the more they kind of get messier. So every once in a while you have to go in and the factory has to go in and clean them up and everything. That takes time. But as far as Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S, we do have some, Wave 8 is going to be a nice big surprise for everybody when we're finally ready to show it. It's got a lot of new in it, and also going forward, people have seen it with the Flash and the Zorro now, where we've kind of altered the ankles. We're not going to put that alteration into every single figure. It's aesthetically, it doesn't work for everybody. But going forward, we are making changes to the articulation as well as the engineering. There's going to be some nice stuff coming up probably very soon. Maybe not the next wave, but maybe the wave after. You're going to see some changes and some added points of articulation into the figures. It's very exciting. So,
yeah, and these figures are already super articulated, so I cannot wait to see what you guys are going to be doing next with those.
They're gonna blink now. That's
I would pay for that. Oh my god, yeah. Now, by the way, for those Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S figures, you basically have those blanks as well, which are great for customizing. A lot of folks are using that, and I know you guys use that with your customizing class. Are there plans for other body types for the male and female figures as well?
There are. I am not sure when we'll see them, but we do actually have plans for both of those. So for both new body types for both male and female.
That's very cool. Now, another line that I'm super excited to get my hands on this year is the Legends of Lucha Libre line. I know it's been something you guys are very proud of. The pre-order for the first two premium figures has already sold out, and right now the Fanaticos are available to pre-order as well. So can you guys kind of run down those figures, what's going on with them, and plans for 2021 and beyond? Well, let's just start. First things first, let's talk about the figures so people can get an idea of what the Legends of Lucha Libre is all about.
So it's actually just so happens I have one of the prototypes here to play with while I work and stuff. And so yeah, this is our first foray into 6-inch figures. We started with the Lucha Brothers, Penta and Phoenix. They are super articulated. They are the closest figure line out there that I could compare these two articulation-wise is Storm Collectibles, like what they did with Thunder Liger and Hulk Hogan. That's the closest in engineering and articulation that, like, these are even more so than like the standard kind of a super articulated figure that at Target. While they're currently sold out, they will be back up for sale soon. We take at a certain point in production, we take them down until we get pre-orders shipped out, and then we'll put them back up sometime after that.
Although there's not much left.
Yeah, there's very little left. So
they've sold really well.
Yeah. we're very happy with the sales. We are continuing on the line. Last year, Toy Fair, we showed the prototypes, the early prototypes. They weren't even like finished engineering wise and stuff for Conan and Lady Maravilla. We also have a number of other figures coming up: Taya, Juventud Guerrero, Vampiro, Ultimo Dragon, Hijo del Perro Aguayo. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. We also have like I have a bag of our mystery mascaras here, unpainted from the factory. But we have the mystery mascaras line, we have the minifigures line, and we actually have a lot of other stuff coming up from Legends of Lucha Libre. So keep an eye out, because we'll be announcing more, not just more action figure lines, but more product, more differentiated product lines coming up. So this has been a fun line to work on, and it's our only like full kind of master license type of situation where we can kind of do all sorts of different toys.
I didn't know you guys had the Ultimo Dragon figure coming up soon, because he's one of my favorites of all time. So I cannot wait to get my hands on that one.
He's amazing. He'll be in Fanaticos Wave 2.
All right, so I got a little bit of time to wait still, but I'm going to be pre-ordering that one on day one, absolutely. Now, I got to ask you guys too, since you're doing right now Legends of Lucha Libre, you're doing some pro wrestlers, and I believe everyone you're doing, as morbid as this might sound, is still alive. Is there any possibility that Boss Fight could do a limited run, perhaps, of autograph versions of these figures?
It is a possibility. Obviously, Hijo del Perro Aguayo is not alive. Neither is his father, who we also have the license to. But for the most part, yeah, most of them are, and it is certainly a possibility. Something we've thought about. The initial pre-order, the first 100 people are getting signed prints of Penta and Phoenix. And we may continue doing that from time to time. It's a little bit more difficult to arrange sometimes to get them to sign things and everything, because we got to send stuff out, send it back, and it's just kind of this big thing. But yeah, signed limited figures would be a very cool thing to do. It's not out of the question, but it's not in our plans even right now.
And I also love that you guys have the separate accessory packs. So just kind of follow up on that. Will there be more accessory packs? And will you guys ever do a Boss Fight wrestling ring?
We will continue to do the accessory packs. They've sold very well, they've sold very well. We're happy with those too. And there's lots of cool accessories that are just kind of too big to include with a figure, because they cost too much. Like the folding chair, it eats up if we put that with an action figure, it eats up all the cost in the action figure. It's actually quite expensive to do things like that. So the accessory packs are nice for us to get out a bunch of little accessories that we can put with figures, but also like one or two big accessories that we can't put with an action figure. As for a ring, we are currently planning a ring, yes, and it's a little different than any of the rings that are out there right now. It's going to be very collectible and very very fun for both kids and collectors, I think.
I'm very interested in seeing how that's going to work. And just a little thing I'd love to see with that: barbed wire ring ropes. Make it happen, please. I want to have some death matches.
Well, we do have the flexible barbed wire in 3-pack. And I took all of them together at one point during a photo shoot we were doing, and I spiraled them all the way around ring post to ring post on the ring ropes. So that was fun.
Just one last thing before we move on to some other figures here, because you guys mentioned other wrestling things in the works. I'd love to see you guys tackle some Japanese wrestling icons. Now, I know that Super 7 has the license currently for New Japan Pro Wrestling, but are perhaps other international wrestling promotions or just other independent wrestling promotions something that's on your radar?
Currently, unless it goes through for when it comes to wrestling, there's I would love to do any of it, honestly, but it basically has to funnel through Masked Republic. They're our partner in this. They've been amazing to work with. We would not want to step on their hands or eat up their space in our schedule with other wrestling product. Not that it's impossible, but it would be something that we'd have to work with Masked Republic on to do that sort of thing.
One of the big surprises you guys had last year, I was blown away by this one. You guys are doing Netflix's The Umbrella Academy figures. Those look really good so far. I know there's not too much out there, but there's just been, I think, for the most part, concept illustrations. Very cool to see the direction they're going to go in. Can you talk to us about what's going on with the Umbrella Academy figures and what's the plan for this year to get those out?
They're still pretty early in development. Right now, we're wrapping up the actor approvals on the sculpt likenesses, but all of the sculpts look amazing. This line is really something. We're very excited about it, and we're really excited about the possibilities for more characters, more versions. We'll see what the sales response allows and how big we can go on it. But yeah, Umbrella Academy's been a blast.
Yeah, I know Katrina has a lot planned for that brand. A lot of, we probably watched both seasons like 5 times, and every time we're watching it, it's like, oh, that's cool, we could do that, like it's you just can't help yourself. And the figures will be they're 4-inch scale, and they will be H.A.C.K.S compatible, so which is always really good. But they're all new sculpts. We're not like using parts from H.A.C.K.S because all their body types are very different, so it will be a cool thing for not just Umbrella Academy fans, but also H.A.C.K.S fans and customizers.
And can I just throw this idea out there? I would love to have Pogo as a Build-A-Figure. You guys haven't done Build-A-Figures before, have you?
We have not.
Is that something that Boss Fight has ever thought about doing or would like to do?
We've talked about it. I think Andrew and I both have some experience trying to cost out Build-A-Figures from our Hasbro years.
If I may,
Yeah.
the problem with the Build-A-Figures, as much fun as it is for the consumer to get another figure that way, it's such a great bonus, is cost-wise, it absolutely destroys any margin you have, unless you are producing an extremely large production run. So it's something that Hasbro can do on the tens or hundreds of thousands of units of Marvel Legends. For us, it's a little bit too much of a cost challenge right now, which is not to say we would never do it, but it's just something to keep in mind when you're looking at the way lines are laid out, and whether a manufacturer, us or anybody else, uses a technique like the Build-A-Figure across an assortment. It is cost-wise, it's madness.
Yeah.
So my favorite line from you guys is the Bucky O Hare series. I think that's how I knew you guys first, was from those figures. I love them. I've got them all. Mimi of Flu is now available to order on the website, which is very cool. So, I got to ask, this begs the question, who's next?
So Bucky has been a really cool and rewarding experience, and working with all the creators is a blast. That said, we don't currently have anything else planned for Bucky. So right now we're not going to talk about any future plans for Bucky, but it doesn't mean that possibility is completely closed down. It's just there's nothing happening with it right now.
So then, to kind of paraphrase, are we saying Bucky's just on temporary hiatus and you guys still have the license, you're just not going to do anything with it at the moment?
Bucky is right now, there are no new plans to talk about.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. So I know there's also another pre-order you guys have right now for the Court of the Dead figures, and I think that's been kind of hanging out in the open too. Are there any updates on those figures?
And those, we've seen a bunch of first shot samples from the tooling for the first couple, and they are freaking amazing.
The details are crazy.
Yeah, you won't believe how these guys look in production. We've got plans for more. That's been another line that Katrina's been heading up, and she's just been destroying on that one. it's really fun. And wait till you guys see the packaging for this line. Woo!
Gorgeous.
Dave Reeves, our packaging guy, has just done an amazing job on this one. So it's going to be a really special presentation.
I cannot wait to see those either. It sounds like just a really great mix of everything that's going on with you guys. Because obviously I've seen from the Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S is how you guys handle fantasy. So Court of the Dead has got some amazing pieces. I'm really excited to see how the figure is going to ultimately take form. So let's also talk about some comic book licenses here and some also Sunday morning comics too. But we'll start with Sam and Max first, because again, that's another one of my personal favorites. So what's going on in the world of Sam and Max these days over at Boss Fight?
Sam and Max, we continue with some new development on Sam and Max. The response to the first wave has been incredible. Sam and Max is Boss Fight's best-selling item. So that's been incredibly exciting because it's been a bit of a passion project for me. We have the second wave coming. We're working on that. We should be able to show that one off very soon. And in the second wave, we've got a 3-pack of the Rubber Pants Commandos. And then we've also got a special like scuba diving Max. That's very, very cool. And so we're in the deco approval stage on those. So hopefully very soon you guys will be seeing those. And we've got some more items in development. Another wave of figures and some really weird other stuff, and hopefully we'll be at a point soon where we can show that.
Well, I love weird other stuff, so I'm looking forward to whatever weird other stuff that's going to be happening with. But yeah, let's talk also about some of those retro licenses, if you will. You guys have done some stuff with Flash Gordon already, Zorro. Coming up, I heard you guys are doing something with Popeye as well, and some other pulp things. So what can you tell us about some of the vintage licenses that you guys have?
In Hero Hacks, we have currently 4 different licenses under the Hero Hacks brand. From King Features, we have the Phantom, and we have 4 different waves planned currently. We have wave 1 is already on pre-sale. We have a 1.5 that will be announced very soon. We have and then wave 2 will be up for pre-sale soon as well. We also have the Phantom with Hero with his horse coming up, which is like Phantom in the gray costume with his white horse, and
yeah, Flash is a ton of fun to work on, and that line is fun because it's a mixture of the movie and the original comic strip, so we can sort of vacillate back and forth between the two. And right now available, we have the first item, which is the movie Flash in the T-shirt. That comes packed in the metal lunchbox, which is we love doing those lunchbox items. Those are so special and fun because, I mean, what's better than getting an action figure and this other really cool thing, at the same time? And then we've also got a couple of waves of Flash Gordon already out there. We've got the comic Flash and Ming. And then following up that in the next wave is a movie Tank Top Flash and Prince Baron. And then we've got wave 3 in the works as well for that, which is another movie wave. And that one is movie Ming and the gas mask Red Guards guys, and then Dale in the gold slave outfit. And yeah, these are looking great. They're very cool.
So is there anything on the horizon that might be new for you guys in terms of licenses that you could perhaps give us a sneak peek or a little taste of what it could be?
Well, the most recent announcement we've made is Popeye, and that has been really, really exciting to finally get moving. So that is going to be an approach you've never seen before in terms of Popeye in toys. We're using the original Seeger comic strips as our sort of primary source on that, and we'll go to various incarnations of the animation and some other stuff for variant costumes and whatnot. But it really all centers around the comic strips and capturing that that style and that original look in the sculpts in a way that's just never been done before, and doing a lot of characters that have sort of never been realized in 3D before as well. The first wave is mostly what you'd expect. It is a pretty standard Popeye and Bluto and olive oil, but then the fourth figure in the first wave is Castor Oil, Olive's brother, who isn't really ever seen in animation and the other memes. He's in the Robin Williams movie, which, just to be clear, we do not have the rights to the movie likenesses and stuff like that. So, you know, it's going to be centered on the comic strip again. But yeah, Castor Oil is actually a fairly prominent character in much of the run of the comic strip, and so you know, we're going to be sort of hitting all of these perhaps lesser known characters and have a lot of really cool surprises in terms of what's coming up in that line.
So the other thing we have in Hero Hacks is, of course, Tarzan and Zorro, and these are really exciting to get. I'm a big fan of both. A number of us are, and specifically for Tarzan, we're focusing on the novels and the characters and the characterizations and visuals that they kind of describe in the novels. And Tarzan and Jane, the first figures, are already up for pre-order, and Wave 2 is coming up for pre-order soon as well, which is a Tarzan version 2, where he's got some different gear and a different deco and stuff, and then Law of Opar, which is kind of one of his mini paramour femme fatale type characters, and she's just glorious with all this like elaborate headdress and all this stuff. Like, she's very cool looking. And we're currently discussing what Wave 3 is going to be, and we're hoping to expand beyond just the humans. So that's kind of our goal currently. And of course, in Zorro, you know, we put out the first figure, which was, he was kind of an amalgamation of all Zorros, like what the kind of zeitgeist is of Zorro. When somebody says Zorro, what do you picture in your head? So that was kind of what the first figure was. He's not an actor he's not an actor visual or anything like that. He was just kind of what you see. We put out, like Phantom and Hero coming up, we also put out the Zorro and Tornado, his horse pack. Those are both available now. And then Wave 2 is coming up, which is based on the mask of the Zorro. So it's going to have the Antonio Banderas Zorro and the Catherine Zeta-Jones in there, and that's been another challenge for us. You know, doing actual actor likenesses at that scale. It's not something we haven't done before, because we all worked on Star Wars and Marvel and all that stuff. But it is a different challenge to get likenesses smaller. And the sculpts on those, we haven't shown them yet. We probably won't show them for a little while, but they look amazing, and they're good. Those figures are going to be so good. And going forward, we have plans for an upcoming surprise 2-pack and for Zorro, and Wave 3, which is I think going to make people very happy as we step out of the realm of the very classic and kind of into some more modern visuals and stuff for Zorro.
And we talked earlier about the Bucky O Hare line being basically a little bit on hold, or whatever you want to call it. But I know last year you guys showed off some minifigures with Bucky O Hare, and you currently have those Legends Lucha Libre masks available as well. So my question here is, for minifigures, is that something that Boss Fight Studio has any interest in doing with any license they have currently? Are you able to do anything like that with the license you have currently? And are minifigures in the works?
Yeah, that's definitely an area we've been looking to sort of expand in. You know, it's funny, as designers, sculptors, as creators, I think we find that it's very easy for us to go to the solution of literally the most elaborate item you can possibly make in a given size and category, and sort of reining it back in and doing the smaller, the sort of simpler item, but that's still extremely well realized and accurate and all of that is a little tougher. And so yeah, we're working on sort of the minifigure expression in a number of different ways, and one of them is a line we're calling Sunday Morning Comics, which is a bunch of those other King Features comic strips. A lot of the more humor-oriented stuff, your Dennis the Menace, your Beetle Bailey, your Hagar the Horrible, your Curtis, Family Circus, and what we're doing is we're sort of putting all those in the same sort of brand bucket, and doing a series of very cool little minifigures that have a lot of life to them in the sculpts and stuff, but they're not an articulated figure. They're more just the small collectible expression of these guys that you don't see a lot of stuff of, especially these days. And that's been a really interesting challenge, to take all of these varied comic strip styles and say, like, how does this character work in 3D? Because, especially something like Dennis the Menace, which is just like very flat and very designy. And there aren't a lot of examples of how to translate that character into 3D. So that's been fun, and I think people will really enjoy those once we're able to show those, and that should be soon as well.
So you guys have a lot of very exciting announcements here, a lot of really cool stuff coming up and for collectors to look forward to. And by the way, too, I just want to add, I've been so happy to see the success of Boss Fight Studio, because I remember the very first New York Toy Fair you guys did. So, the booth was pretty small. It's kind of out in this section by the cafeteria area. And then last year, you guys were like a booth that was 4 times the size of what you had previously. It's been amazing. It's been great to see you guys just really blow up and really pick up speed. You guys deserve it.
Well, thank you.
So again, thank you so much, Andrew and Erik, for chatting with us today about Boss Fight Studio. For folks who want to check out the toys, where can they go to do that?
The best place to go is bossfightshop.com. And that's where you can buy all of our stuff that's currently available. And then we have lots of great retailers that carry our stuff, including Big Bad Toy Store. That's a great outlet to get stuff from. And our social media is pretty active: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's just Boss Fight Studio. We like to encourage people to follow us on all the platforms so that they don't miss anything.
So if you guys aren't already following Boss Fight Studio, make sure that you do. Always good stuff there. And again, just a lot of really cool stuff to look forward to. I'm so excited for Ultima Dragon. By the way, I really, really need that figure out like now.
Oh, that figure is something else.
Oh, don't tease me.
He's got so many cool costumes, and it's going to be really good.
I just want like a blank Ultima Dragon so I can paint him one of the many different costumes he's gotten. I mean, because he's got so many.
Blank leeches, huh?
Well, again, Andrew, Erik, thank you so much for chatting today. Real wonderful to speak with you guys, and hopefully next year, Toy Fair in New York, I'll be able to see you in person once again.
Yeah.
So until then, this has been Matthew from Nerd News Today Toy Fair 2021. Stick around because we've got plenty more coming right up.